presenting you oyster farms as well. You can see on the right side, so this one over here, that's a big farm, like, right? Oyster farm, right? And this business, you can see the owner, the farmer, taking care of his oysters, right? Once again, when we talk about the oyster farms, you know, and the pearl industry overall, when I was on Bora Bora, I saw a black pearl that big from the sea, right, the natural one, and the cost for those kind of type of pieces can go up to 2,000 euros per piece. It depends on the shape, it depends on the, you know, how rare they are and those kind of type of things, right? Clarify, Yugoslavia doesn't exist anymore. That's it. Country doesn't exist anymore. But however, at that point, let's say 1980s, so I'm talking about Serbia, Croatia, Montenegro, Slovenia, Macedonia, and of course Bosnia and Herzegovina, ladies and gentlemen. All those countries at certain point, they were the same country. The president of ex-Yugoslavia was actually Mr. Josip Broz Tito. Mr. Tito was a very, very popular president, you know. When we talk about the presidential status overall, I must say he was the most popular ever. At that time, when Mr. Tito was president of ex-Yugoslavia, I must say that the country was actually one of the richest in the entire Europe. We didn't struggle at all. Mr. Tito was that kind of type of president, believe or not, without any university degree. He was only mechanic. But you know what, ladies and gentlemen? He was supported very much by the world leaders. And we must mention, you know, the name of one of the biggest world leaders ever, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. We are all aware that unfortunately Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II passed away a few years ago. However, ladies and gentlemen, at that point, and again I'm talking about 1980s, right? They were working closely together and they were trying to find some common solutions for all those ex-Yugoslav republics so we can still stay together instead of falling apart. Unfortunately, in 1980, Mr. Tito passed away. So, the new political system that came after Mr. Tito was more or less catastrophic. We've had like one of the worst presidents in the history of this country, Mr. Slobodan Milosevic. Mr. Milosevic really had some, you know, ideas about making like changing the name of the country, making like, kind of like a big Serbia, right? Changing the borders, changing the name of the country, and etc. And you know, other republics, they didn't want to accept that. The first one who said no to his plan was actually Slovenia. Slovenia was the first one that actually left Yugoslavia so easily. The last country that left Yugoslavia was actually Montenegro in 2006. After the referendum that happened in this country, 2006, people decided that we will not be the same anymore. As a result of catastrophic political decisions from Mr. Milosevic, we've had like a massively bad, wide, catastrophic war in this area. Not only one war, several of them. And I'm talking about 1991, 1992, 1993, 1994, and 1995. The war started on the Plitvice Lake, when the group of Croatian people has been killed by another group of the people who wore the military uniforms from Serbia. Serbia was aggressor towards the Croatia. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, that's not the only one war, right? It's been a war between Croatia and Bosnia as well. Bosnia and Herzegovina actually was the one who paid the largest price when we talk about victims. A lot of innocent people. It was about the European Union, right? Montenegro is not part of the European Union. So Montenegro is not part of the European Union, right? All right, and then when we talk about the Kandil Tower, ladies and gentlemen, actually the Ottoman Empire was the one who built the Kandil Tower, and the Ottomans were here through the history, ladies and gentlemen, over the 280 years. Between 1444 and 1758, over the 280 years, and the most significant figure from the Ottoman Empire is, I'm gonna cut your head. Yeah. So Ottomans were very strict with the punishments, ladies and gentlemen. While talking about the Kandil Tower, I must say that today, so at that time they were using for the jail purposes, right? Today they are using for music festivals. This place, right? There is a 2,000 seats available for all people who enjoy, pop music. They promote pop music in this part of the country very, very much. This morning earlier, Voce di Cattaro, and the reason that I'm using Italian language is very simple. Until 1819, in this area, it was actually all about Republic of Venice or Venetian Republic. So the official language was Italian. So the Republic of Venice or Venetian Republic was the one who actually built all down. They were trying, so they built those walls. They were trying to defend themselves from the Ottomans' attack. It was like a strategic moment. While talking about while talking about Dubrovnik, we must say as well that it's one of the most wanted, destinations, definitely, the most expensive ones. The first one, the most expensive one, is actually Monte Carlo, number 2 Saint-Tropez, and Dubrovnik number 3. So it is what it is, right? While talking about Herceg Novi, ladies and gentlemen, I must share with you, actually I might ask you another question as well. Do you know what is the second name for Montenegro? The second name for Montenegro is actually Small Las Vegas. And you guessing well. Yeah, it's all about the gambling here. Very much. In Herceg Novi they have like 16 up to 18 casinos in Herceg Novi they have. Like I'm from Dubrovnik, we have only 6. And we consider those 6 even too much, But in Herceg Novi they have only 18. Can you imagine in Podgorica? Podgorica is the capital city in Montenegro, right? So, like, did you watch, any of you? Did you watch eventually, 007, James Bond, all those movies and etc. Half of the movies are actually recorded in Monte Carlo, and another half has been filmed in Montenegro. Because Podgorica is all about beautiful casinos and expensive ones, right? So definitely, and you know what, ladies and gentlemen, while talking about the gambling, I'm not talking about hundreds of dollars. These people are losing millions of dollars per year. So, and it's not just online gambling. They come physically, to enjoy that process, but losing all that money. And if you're gonna ask me about this phenomenon, if you have a question, I don't even know how to explain it. All right. Moving forward, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about the Montenegro. This country is actually, let's say, very much famous about the tallest people and the highest mountains. So people in Montenegro, they are pretty much all about sports. The main sport, for the example, Montenegro is actually water polo. And then the second one, the most popular, is actually football. So yeah, these people are right. Montenegro is very much a traditional country, very traditional. And when I say that, you might easily find people living with their parents in the same house until late 30s or even 40s. That's a part of the culture, and people in Montenegro are very proud of that. We respect that segment, right? Once again, it's a part of their culture. While moving through Herceg Novi, ladies and gentlemen, please have a look at this fantastic Adriatic Sea that we are surrounded with, right? Have a look at this beautiful Polka Bay. I really must say that when we talk about the Adriatic Sea, first of all, we don't have tsunami. No tsunami, no big waves, no sharks, no jellyfish. So we have something similar, like a jellyfish that big, but it's actually not the real one. It's harmless, right? And the largest animal that you might see today during the day is actually a dolphin. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about the animals from this area, you might see a bear as well. You know, don't you worry. So when I was in Alaska, I saw a big polar bear. You know, they don't have those kind of type of bears. They have like a mid-sized small bear, brown bear, right? They won't attack people at all. They don't attack people, right? When they see people, they just walk away, right? Another thing, and another question will be probably about snakes. I'm pretty sure. Yes, this country has a lot of snakes. But don't you worry, ladies and gentlemen, those areas that you're going to be browsing through today, you won't see any snakes, okay? You're completely safe. Don't stress about it, right? We already discussed about the fact that this country is pretty much out of European Union, right? But however, local currency in this country is actually euro. You can pay everything, you know, while using euro, right? Or your card. It will work perfectly well, right? So, as well, when talking about Montenegro, I have to say that this country is about 650,000 people in total. That's the total amount of the people. And 30% they live in Podgorica actually. So they are part of the Podgorica. 30% from that total number, right? Approximately 250,000 people, right? Now, when we talk about the Boka Bay, we discussed this morning earlier, you know, about Igalo, Herceg Novi, Muo, Prčanj, Peras, Kotor, all those places are part of the Boka Bay. In total, we have 23,000 people in Boka Bay. However, in Peras, we have only 140 men and 140 men and 178 women. It's a very small island. But don't be surprised, ladies and gentlemen. Another fact about Paris. The average home, I'm talking about the house for example, in Paris, it will cost between 2 and 10 million euros. This is UNESCO protected area. And all those houses, you know, they have a fantastic sea view, once again, and of course, Lady of the Rocks, once again, a fantastic view. You see, Sophia Bride, right? What am I talking about, right? It's $1 million view, really, like Paris is turned around with the massive, big mountains, launching Orient. It's actually beneath the hill of Saint Maria in the middle. Once again, you will see all those things very, very shortly. Now, however, you know, a lot of people from Hollywood, they buy properties here as well. Have you heard about Catherine Zeta-Jones and Michael Douglas? They actually paid 1.2 million euros to buy a house in this area. As well, you might see some celebrities, they are actually browsing around with the yachts, right? And if you follow tennis, for example, Novak Djokovic. They're filming, you know, I think last season, I saw him like several times. They were filming some commercials, you know, and those kind of type of things. So it's not surprising the fact that we might see this.